stars in the spotlight, secrets in the night, headlines take flight, we're the keepers of the light. The talk of shame, we know the name, fame's the game, join the flame.
Hi guys. All right, we are going to talk about some Real Housewives of Orange County, and we are going to figure out this whole live situation because, this is not, I love an IG story, I love a TikTok, but it's time to just start going live and talking about these shows as soon as they happen. Let's just start by saying that there's so much going on in the Real Housewives. There's stuff going on in the show, which this season of Real Housewives of Orange County, I will say, is probably one of the greatest seasons that they've ever had. Unfortunately, it's at the expense of Shannon. But you know what? I feel like she has everyone rallying around her. And at the end of the day, it's all going to work out. So even though this is probably one of the toughest seasons, she's had some tough seasons. It's going to be good. Kaden, yes, I know I can't get enough of OC, but we have it. Not only are we watching what's happening play out on camera, also we have real life drama happening, mostly what's going on between Tamra and Vicki. And I want to get your take on that too, because I'm curious if you think that this drama between Tamra and Vicki is real, or let's remember, they've been friends for, I think, 17 years now. Do you think that there is a chance that Tamra really wants her old friend Vicki back on the show, and she knows that one of the easiest ways to do that is to get into a really bad feud with her? And maybe there's I don't know why, I feel like everything with me, I'm always comparing it to Usual Suspects. I'm always like, is there an ulterior motive to the ulterior motive? I don't know, but we'll get into that. But I want to talk about this episode because here's the thing. If John Jansen's entire reasoning for what he's doing is to show that he's a good guy and to clear his name and to get the audience on his side, he's doing a very terrible job at it, because every single move he's making makes us cringe even more. And I guess I'm just trying to figure out what his strategy was going into this, because it's not working out. So the episode kicks off with, we see, sorry, I'm getting used to some of these things. Sorry. Episode kicks off, we see Heather and Alexis together. And, it's surprising because I was shocked to see that they kind of have such a good relationship, because they just seem kind of, I don't know, so opposite. But, I watched the sort of, I guess, after show reaction show where it had, Heather and Shannon, and I think was in it too, reacting to the episode. And Heather did say that her and Alexis did not used to be close friends. They weren't close friends, but their kids were either in some musical theater program, something like that, together. So they were kind of forced through their kids to be friends. And so they became friends. And I will say, before the season started, I guess I thought that I would see more of a connection between them because they both have trans children. And we did get to, get into that into this episode, which was great. And so I was looking for more of that, I think, in that connection. Again, I wish that Alexis had brought a lot more of herself. Again, she had talked about she was supposed to join this season as single Lexi, that she wasn't supposed to be in a relationship. And I wish we had gotten to know more of her, because prior to, the old, back when Alexis was on previously, we only really got to know her as Alexis Bellino. And we didn't really get to know her. I will, to Alexis's credit though, I will say this, she has come such a long way, because I know there was clips out there, in the old Orange County where she was, I don't know, I don't remember the name of the woman she was speaking with, but she was a lesbian in a marriage. And she was saying in the confessional, and this was the older Alexis, older Orange County, how, she didn't believe that their marriage was real because she was a Christian. And now we see her obviously completely done a 180. And she's like, I want everyone to, live their life as they are and be free. So I will say, to her credit, I'm glad she's had a huge learning curve. I do find it sad that sometimes people have to experience it with people in their lives. Like they have to have children or other people they love in order to make those changes. I just wish people were just like that already. But she's come full circle, or she's changed her ways. And so that's, that's good. But Heather's talking about, essentially, she's doing a fundraiser for this. I think it's called Family Equality fundraiser that she's doing up in wine country, Sonoma. And she lets Alexis know that, she's going to be inviting Shannon to this event as well, which Alexis isn't happy about. But they're all going to take this trip together. I will say, there was this scene where the DeBros, they were talking about how, they've moved to LA because they want their kids to have a more inclusive lifestyle. And I love this scene because we know all of the properties that the DeBros had. And when I saw this, cat tower in the background, immediately I was like, okay, I love this. I finally can feel relatable to the DeBros because I don't have millions of dollars of property, but it's like, that's how much cats own you, is that no matter, even if you have a multi-million-dollar mansion, they're going to force you to get that cat tower. I think I see the cat right there, up there in the top of the tower. So I kind of love that scene. Sorry, I'm also trying to pay attention to comments, so feel free to chime in. This is a two-way conversation. I know some of you are talking still about the Tamra stuff. We're definitely going to get into the Tamra stuff. You're saying, Brianna, you wouldn't be surprised if Tamra is behind John and Alexis too. Look, I think that what we've learned, at least what we learned from Jersey, and I don't want, other franchises to turn into Jersey, but we do learn that people have these sort of probably meeting strategy sessions before they go into a season. And I do think that, Shannon was coming off of a DUI, and I think at the time she was getting a lot of hate from the audience when the DUI happened, right? And so it's easy to pile on to someone. And I think maybe they thought the audience would kind of side with them because they would say, oh, look at Shannon. She had this DUI. She's not a good person. I just don't think they realize, like, just because you have a DUI doesn't mean that, like, all of these other things, like, you can't start, like, dating her man and, like, saying you have videos on her and like, all of these other things that seem to pile up. Of course, we're going to be on Shannon's side in that respect. So I don't think that they calculated for that. Now, so also, I will say, we find out that Heather has rented a private jet for everyone to fly up to Sonoma for this fundraiser, but Jen can't join the private jet because after 4 years, there's finally a court date that's been set for her and her ex-husband to determine alimony, to determine child support. She's FaceTiming with Katie about the situation. As much as I don't want to, I would love to go up with you guys. I gotta finally do this court thing. And, Katie, can I say, I love her as an addition this season, and her confessionals are hilarious. What did she say in her confessional? She's basically saying, I relate to this because her situation with her ex, she walked away with nothing, no alimony, nothing. And she was just trying to get out of the situation. And she's like, I wish I could be there for you for this court date because I know how bad it is. And in her confessional, she's just like, oh, yeah, my ex-husband, I looked at a picture of him the other day, and his hairline doesn't even like him. It's chasing away from him too. So I don't know. I just think Katie's really funny. I think she's such a great addition to this season. But we find out Jen isn't going to be joining. Now, we find out later when Jen does finally get up to Sonoma, and Tamra asked her, how does the court go? And she's kind of like, it didn't go the way I thought it would be. She reveals she's only given $6,000 a month for the 5 children they have. and I do know, $6,000 a month is a lot, but I do understand in Orange County and for 5 children, that is not a lot of money. And I don't even know. I mean, she didn't really reveal because they were kind of like, is that alimony? Is that child support? It just felt like, I know it's been revealed online. I don't know how much she got in total, but I mean, $6,000 for 5 children isn't a lot of money, but alas, that's where she is. Now, on the private jet, now this is what I want to talk about because on the private jet, the Ferragamos come up, okay? The Ferragamos. So basically, John and Alexis made their red carpet debut. That's what they referred to it. It was a red carpet debut. And Shannon showed a picture to, I think it was like Emily and Gina, of, oh, interesting, he's at this red carpet debut and he's wearing the Ferragamos that I bought him. I think Heather looked it up. I think they cost about, I think they were on sale. I think she said $375 to $475, something like that. She's like, not too expensive. But these Ferragamos where John was wearing at this event, and hold on, let's get a little close up so you can see the Ferragamos in all their glory. These are the Ferragamos that Shannon said that she got for John. Well, here's what's so funny. Because of course this comes up on the private jet. Alexis is kind of just like, oh, worry about something else. Let it go. But I get it. It's like, here's your man who says he doesn't want to have, you ruined his life because you made him public. And now he's on this red carpet event wearing the shoes that you bought him. I've been there. I have been there. Like where the guy, like I was a first wife club where I made you, I got you. She was like, he didn't even know name brands of fashion before he met me. And now he's wearing Ferragamos. Now here's what's so funny because someone pointed this out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know. Someone was like, the engagement photo that they posted, Alexis and John posted, it looks like he's wearing the Ferragamos in the engagement photos. I think this is did he propose to Alexis wearing the Ferragamos that Shannon bought? I mean, it looks like he might have. I'm just saying. If I were John, I would just sell the shoes, get rid of the shoes, have Alexis buy you some new shoes. I definitely do not want my ex wearing anything I bought them. And I know that seems petty, but like, here we are. Now, the Ferragamos was like, kind of the least of Shannon's worries because what happens is, they get to Sonoma and Heather splits the groups up. They do a lot of splitting up this season, which, I don't know, like it's kind of, it breaks things up too much. You realize what a divide there is in the group, but you also know it's for Shannon's well-being because, when they land in Sonoma, one group gets in, one SUV and another group's in another SUV. And Gina is in the Escalade or in the SUV with Alexis. And she says to Alexis, like, you cannot release those videos. Because again, we have these videos that Alexis says that John has saved from the night of the DUI that shows Shannon in a really bad light. Now, Katie revealed to Emily that these videos show Shannon trying to run John's daughter over, allegedly. That's what's on these videos. Now, Tamra had alluded in interviews that there's other videos from their previous years of relationship, previous months of their relationship, showing other things, which again, it all feels, like Emily said, she was saying, feels very blackmail-y, it feels very extortion-y. So Gina tells Alexis in the SUV, you cannot release those videos. It will push Shannon over the edge. But then, they get to their respective, little abodes where they're staying. One group goes to lunch, it's like Heather and Tamra and Alexis, and then Jen's going to join them for lunch. And then the rest of the girls are going to lunch elsewhere. And when the spa day happens, Gina and them are all talking, and Emma's basically saying to Shannon, like, maybe just pay him, because Shannon reveals, I have a deadline today. She said, I have to respond to John and his attorneys. basically she has to give a response by that day. And she says that the $75,000 that he's asking for, if she doesn't respond, it's going to go to a lawsuit, basically. Her attorney offered half of that, basically. She said, we offered half and we're waiting for a response. And Emily's kind of just like, oh, I just wish you would like pay him, because then it's just like out of your life. But Shannon's just like, I don't want to pay him. And then Gina accidentally is like, yeah, especially with those videos. And then you see Shannon, she's like, what videos? What videos? And Emily's like, she doesn't know. And that this was the realest moment ever, because the look on Gina's face. Let me see if I can find the picture. The look on Gina's face is like, oh my gosh, I definitely didn't. I didn't know that you did. I knew that you didn't know, but I didn't realize that I messed up and I said something. Hold on. I want to see if I can find Gina's face, because Gina's face is definitely all of us in that moment. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can get this on there. She's like, this is her face. This is all of her face. Gina is horrified that she just revealed that there's videos that Shannon doesn't know about. And Shannon is just like, what videos? And this is what I mean. I know everyone's stomach. My stomach dropped, because she has to be disgusted. And, Shannon breaks down. She has a full-on meltdown. She leaves. She goes to another place. We hear her on the phone talking to, obviously, we assume her attorney. And when she comes back into the spa area, she just like, I told my lawyer just to give him whatever he wants. And like at that moment, you're so mad, because you're like, you don't even want her to give him anything he wants. But she also is like so scared of what's on these videos, because you don't know when you're, and that's the thing. In the moment, she doesn't realize that, like, if she was drunk, the audience would forgive her, because like whatever happened, we knew you were drunk enough to get a DUI. But at that moment, you're like, I don't know what I said on those videos, because I was drunk. I don't want it released. Fine, just give him whatever she wants. Give him whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants. And we hear in the women on the other lunch, Tamra and Alexis, Jen and Heather, we hear Alexis saying, I just want John to settle it. I told him just to settle, take whatever money, but he's like, F that, I'm not doing that. I want it all. So it feels like, again, this is being driven by John just trying to go after and ruin her. And that's what Shannon's like, why are they trying to ruin me? And everybody's confused, because Gina's like, Gina, Emily, they're like, if you're so happy, why are you spending your time trying to ruin her? It doesn't make any sense. Just take the money, go away, take your Ferragamos, and move the fuck on. But that's what's not happening. All right, what are we saying in the comments? You were confused by the timeline. I thought she already offered the 75K. So was this the actual offer at the NDA? Well, I think from my understanding is, she gets the initial letter from the attorney saying, demanding the 75K, or it's going to turn into a lawsuit. And she basically is like, makes an offer. First, she doesn't want to make any offer, but then she does make an offer. And then probably when she offered, at that point, she said, give him whatever she wants, but I want the NDA. That's probably when she offered it. She didn't say it on camera, but I'm assuming that's when she offered the NDA, because what we hear now in real time is Shannon said he refused the offer because he refused to sign the NDA. And it's like, why? Why do you need to talk? If you just need the money, take the money. Why do you need to still talk about me? It doesn't really make any sense. I'm curious, when people, if it does feel like extortion, it does feel very blackmaily. And I'm curious, like, if Emily on the side was sort of giving her advice as an attorney of like, maybe don't pay this, because this feels kind of dirty. Like they're kind of holding these videos over your head. Someone's asking, Val is asking, now is the NDA because she knew he had the videos? Seems like we had missing info. I mean, it doesn't seem like she knew. When you look at her face, when you look at her face, everyone in this moment did not know that Shannon didn't know. She was like, I very much, that was one of the most realist moments in reality TV. She did not know there was a video. But maybe, yes, maybe once she heard there was a video, that maybe then she did say, I want this NDA, because now she does know there's a video. And she's like, fine, give him whatever he wants, but I want an NDA. I don't want those videos released. I don't want any of it, because she has the information and she's working with it. Which makes it even more sketchy, because like, why would you want to release the videos regardless, right? So that's like, I mean, I feel so bad. Shannon can't even get her like mineral bath and massage on. She just goes back to her room and goes to sleep because she can't even take it at this point. She's like done. Debbie said she offered a lump sum, but he demanded a monthly payment plan. He wants to control her life. I mean, I would never. Can you imagine having to pay a monthly payment plan to someone you weren't married to? It's not even like alimony. It's just like an ex. Especially, she said in her confessional, she's like, here's the truth. She's like, the truth is I paid for everything for the first 2 years of the relationship. Now, we got to get a little bit of insight into how John made his money, because at the lunch table, someone says, well, oh, didn't he sell his company? But I love Shannon. She comes back with a quickness to correct. She goes, he owned a percentage of one of the divisions. She's like, it wasn't a company. He owned a percentage of one of the divisions. Let's get this clear. So, when she says that she paid for everything the first 2 years of the relationship, I 100% believe Shannon, because again, I've been there. I've been there where I paid 100% in the entire relationship. We do these things. We do these things because we don't want to be alone. We do these things because, we just think that this is the one. Like, we do these things. And I absolutely believe her that she paid for the first 2 years of relationship, and that she did it because she loved him and was never expecting anything in return. And when he finally, maybe got a little money because he sold the percentage of the division of the company, he finally had a little money to treat her, and she was kind of like excited about it. I do feel like that. Brianna is a lawyer in LA. She says the issue is that the videos are on a Ring camera outside on a public street. So Shannon doesn't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. It does feel like extortion, but the videos are Jobs' property. I get that. And like that, it is, it's Ring camera. But it's also just like, but why? And also, why use it as a reason to showcase someone is more horrible to prove that you're a good person? Just, if you're a good person, just be a good person. You don't have to prove it by showing someone else is like really that bad. So Shannon goes back and she basically goes to sleep, or, takes a nap, lays down, cries, whatever she's doing in her room. And she comes, because they're going to go to dinner later. And then like the women are like, should we even go to dinner? And then, Emily, she's like, because Katie's like, are you close with Alexis? She's like, oh, I've known Alexis for years, but she's not in my circle. She's like, I just feel like maybe you could talk to her. And Emily is like, yeah, like, I feel like Alexis isn't seeing this side of it. She's like, us as being Shannon's friends are seeing how this is destroying her. And Alexis is just full blown on this warpath to make, Johnny J's reputation, look better. And she's not seeing how this is destroying. And maybe I need to explain to Alexis, like, this is destroying this woman. You need to stop. And so I'm hoping that's what we're going to see in this coming episode, because I do think that at this point, Shannon's friends need to like pull Alexis to the side and say, you need to stop this. As like woman to woman, stop this. Let us just be your friend. Stay out of it. Let John and Shannon have their thing. Stay out of it. You do not need to be the conduit to making this man have a better reputation. Let him go. Like, we don't need him. So then Shannon, she comes over and to Heather's, because she's like, everyone's like, should we even, I don't even know. She shows up in the same robe that she's wearing from the spa. She has not, gotten ready. She has not changed. She shows up at Heather's and she's like, you don't look ready for dinner. And she's like, yeah, because I'm not. And she basically, at this point, Shannon is shaking. She's so just like furious about the situation. She's shaking. And she's like, I just need you to understand. Like, I just feel like nobody understands, because basically she's saying the night of the DUI, there was a lot she didn't remember. She went unconscious, all of these things. Someone asked her, like, how many seconds after she left John's did she crash into the house? And she was like, 3, 4, 5 seconds, maybe. And they were like, and John didn't hear the crash. And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, basically saying that when she looked through her phone, she finally realized that she didn't remember. But after the accident, she took a picture of herself with her injuries, sent it to John. It was like at midnight. He responds not till 2 a.m. and he's like, what's going on? The cops just showed up with Archie. Where are you? What happened? But he never responded to the photo. And Heather's kind of like, well, did he not see the photo? You know, whatever. So then Shannon brings up the photo. This is the first time we're seeing the injuries that Shannon has from her DUI. And we see, like, she has this bloody face. It's streaming down her face. And this is the photo that she said that she sent to John Jansen right after the accident happened, and he never responded to. And basically saying, like, did he hear the accident? Did he not care? Like, what's happening? Like, I just feel like I was out there on my own. In the after show, the reaction show, Shannon talked about this photo. She talked about the reason she was shaking, because if you saw the episode, her hand was shaking so bad when she was trying to open it. She said the reason she was shaking so bad was because she knew once she put this on camera, on film, that anytime you Googled her name, this photo would be associated with her. And she knew that, but she said she just wanted to be able to get her side out because of that. So, you know, that's where we really ended that episode. And obviously, like, we're going to go into, I mean, I don't think that Shannon's going to go to the dinner. I hope that Emily is going to, you know, have this conversation with Alexis, because someone needs to set her down. But I really liked, I mean, this episode, it's just really getting good. And I don't know, this is episode 9. I haven't looked and seen how many episodes there are going to be for the season. Because I know they still have another cast trip. Because I think there's one that Alexis is not invited to. So we still have a lot more to get through, but you know, Shannon's getting through it, and that's what's most important. Looking at your comments for what you're saying. Thank you. Is it Coco? Thank you. I'm trying my best to give you a good show, so you come back and you tell people to come back. Jay says, I believe she has some kind of case against him similar to extortion. Well, Brianna, the lawyer, said, you know, again, these videos are ring camera footage. Can't expect any expectation of privacy. So we don't know. But we have like several episodes of the season. And then I was thinking about the reunion. Sorry, I'm going to clear out some of the, while I love doing these presentations, when you do the presentations, I'm still learning a lot of things. I can only have so many slides up at a time, and I want to add some of the other slides so we can talk about Tamra and Vicki's feud, because that in itself, again, I'm still trying to figure out, like, I mean, Tamra and Vicki obviously have a real feud. You know, when the whole Tres Amigas things went down and that whole thing, they stopped doing that. They have a real feud, but I was trying to figure out, you know, whether some of this was, you know, maybe Tamra was wanting her old friend back on the show. Now, Tamra and Vicki, hold on, I just like this because this was just something that I created, and I just thought it was like a funny cover. So Tamra, you know, she had some work done on her face. She said, this is what she said. She said that she did a brow lift, a CO2 laser, and a blue chemical peel. She said 7 years ago she had a lower facelift but skipped the upper. So this entire past week, we've basically learned, we've had a front row seat to Tamra's recovery. She's just been doing regular content. with her peeling face that I think her mom said it made her mom, she shared that text, her, like, your face makes me want to throw up. And people thought she was like in a motorcycle accident because it looks like road rash, right? But while she's doing regular content with this peeling face, she's also getting into this like war with Vicki because basically Vicki brings up, I think Vicki said what a lot of people were thinking was Tamra is going after her friend Shannon and she's not realizing she has her own skeletons, and she brings up Tamra's daughter Sydney, who she hasn't spoken to in years, which we know is like a major trigger for Tamra. And I'm like, we all know that this is not going to uh, end well. So it first started with, you know, the first time I saw anything was when, Vicki and Christian Snow, they do a podcast with, what is it called? Hold on, let me find it. Here we go. They do a podcast, and they were talking about, got this from Bywig Hello Drama, who we love, another account we love, where they were talking about, Tamara said, if your daughter Sydney has a really strong opinion of the show, you're embarrassing the family, stop what you're doing. She basically said, if my daughter didn't speak to me, I would stop doing the show, immediately. I would fly to her house and be like, just, and make amends. And she's saying, like, get off the show, reconcile with your daughter. And she went there, which again, most people know not to go there with Tamra because Tamra is going to fight back. Tamra's initial response actually was pretty like tame. She was pretty much acting like she's like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. She did the live. Her face was, I don't even remember what day of recovery this was, but she pretty much was like, leave me alone. She didn't say leave me alone yet, but she's basically just like, you clearly need some attention. Like, go away. I don't care, what you have to say. And so she seemed like she wasn't going to address it. But I don't know, again, this is where I don't know if something like clicked with her or if maybe she thought this would be a good feud to have, because then she came back with the crying video. And I will say the comment sections, like everyone who reposted the, oh, sorry, Val. Okay, I should give a trigger warning for this, but she's not giving us a trigger warning. She's a little more healed here. But then Tamara came back and she was like crying. She did a crying video where she was just like, like, I don't know what you want from me, Vicki. I give up, basically. Now, here's the part that I know that triggered a lot of people, because in the video, she goes, you don't know what it's like to lose a child. That kind of threw me, because I was like, when you say lose a child, it feels like you have, like, your child is no longer on earth. I understand that, like, not having a relationship with a child does feel like a version of death, but I felt like that was a weird way to put it, like losing a child. I'm like, your child, like you did see her at your other daughter's graduation, like you have seen her. She said that Vicki was insinuating that the reason that she was on the show was the reason that she didn't talk, basically saying like Tamara's acting like that wasn't the reason. What a lot of the comments were about was because Tamara was crying because she was like, okay, just kick me when I'm down, Vicki. And everybody's like, oh, really? Like you kicked Shannon when she was down? Like, were you thinking about her daughters when you kept calling her an alcoholic like every episode? And so that was like a lot of the comments. Some people were like feeling sorry for Tamara, but I think most of the people were kind of just like, why are you crying the blues? Like, you have been going after Shannon this entire time, and you've been doing it, with her mortal enemy. So then I think Vicki came back and was kind of like explaining, why she said what she said. She was like, it wasn't to hurt Tamra. It was just because I want, if your daughter doesn't want you to be on the show and that's the way you can repair your relationship, then get off the show. Now, then what started floating around was a lot of people were posting this old Facebook post. Well, it was just a Facebook post, and some people thought it was a recent Facebook post from Sydney. Sorry, you can't really see, but this is a Facebook post from Sydney Barney that had it was just talking about, her and like her mother and all of the thing. And that was what people were saying was the reason they didn't have a relationship. Now, this particular Facebook post was from several years ago. So it wasn't something recent. And according to Tamra, so then Tamra, has been responding to people who have been reposting that Facebook post. I know she went on the Bravo Instigators post, another great account. She went on the Bravo Instigators post because, again, Vicki was trying to say, I wasn't trying to hurt Tamra. And in the comments, Tamra, basically someone said, is that a recent post from Sydney? And Tamra responded, no, it's one her dad did years ago. So she's saying it's years ago, and she's saying that, Simon was the one who made the post, or at least put her up to it. And then she was just basically saying, shut the fuck up, Vicki, you have no idea what you're talking about. And so she responded. So look, I think this feud will continue on. But again, I'm curious to see if it does somehow lead to Vicki, rejoining the show in any capacity. Because I know a lot of people do feel like Shannon needs a, well, I definitely feel like Shannon has more allies, because I do think that, Gina especially, and Emily, after the way that Shannon treated Gina after her DUI, I think people kind of looked at it as karma. I think Emily even said that in the after show. She's like, I don't want bad things to happen, but it did feel like karma the way she treated Gina. And so I think Gina came into the season kind of ready to go after Shannon. But when she saw kind of like how, I just think that Shannon was being really repetitive. Is that the word I'm thinking? She was repenting. She was feeling bad for her. And Gina was like, I'm not going to kick her while she's down. And also what's happening to her on this Alexa side is not really good. And even Gina on social media has been so nice. She did a post. She was talking about, she was shopping for reunion dresses, and she thought of Shannon, and she was saying how, Shannon has come a long way in her recovery and all of that. And, there was a little bit of shadiness thrown at the lunch. Gina, Shannon did order a drink while the women were in Sonoma at lunch. And, Gina's not drinking. And she said, it could have been really easy for Shannon to not get a drink because I'm there and I'm not drinking, but she did. So she's still pointing those things out. But yeah, Jill says speculation that it's about having competition in podcasts. Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, Tamra has multiple podcasts, but Two T's in the Pod is doing really well. Obviously, Vicki and Christian's pod is probably competing. So maybe or it could just, again, could be to help out the pod. I'm always looking at things through the lens of usual suspects, but yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all I have for today. I'm gonna end this live when we're in like a positive place. Val said, we miss you on Reality Check, but glad you took a break. It was a holiday. So reality, I will say, series does actually take holidays, so Labor Day. But I will be back Monday, and obviously on Monday we're going to absolutely talk about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm going to talk about that. People I think voted. I think I'm going to do a live about that Sunday. I want to give people at least like today and Saturday to watch all 8 episodes, and then we'll do a live about that. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a live about, I know Karen Reed, the woman who was acquitted of the murder of the Boston cop. I know she's doing an interview on 2020 tonight. I'll watch that. If that's, something interested, maybe we'll do a live about that. Selling Sunset, I think, comes out today, so I might binge watch that today. Maybe we'll do a live about that. I'm just trying to do a live, very regular, so it's a normal thing that you can look. We can recap all the things. Obviously, I'm watching Tell Me Lies, but also tell me what you want me to recap. I don't have to just do reality, because reality stuff you can also get on Sirius. I only talk about reality there. If we want to talk about scripted shows and that sort of thing, we can do that here. If we want to talk about some cases and trials, we can talk about whatever we want on YouTube. It's the talk of shame. We can talk about whatever we want. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining my first live. It wasn't as scary as I thought, and I will continue doing more. Take care. Love you.